Okay. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming today. Today we will hear from Monk River. He will be telling us how to live a more meaningful and happy life, and a little bit about the Monk Life Project. Monk River recently reordained as a Theravada Buddhist monk after a previous 10-year ordination was interrupted by health issues. With over 30 years of experience in meditation, along with a 4-year meditation retreat, he brings a wide and deep knowledge of meditation, as well as Eastern wisdom, into his teachings. So before I hand over to Monk River, for everyone who would like to pay their respects to our teaching monk, please bow 3 times. Bow. 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 So, Lumpy River, it's over to you. Satu.
Thank you very much for that nice introduction. Bless you all. And may I also pay my deep respects to Venerable Ronapop, Venerable Nicholas, and Venerable Tam, Kawaka, Pipa, and Dekap. And with deep gratitude for their teachings. They're all very familiar to me, as is the place where you are at, also very familiar to me, because I first ordained in the International Dhammadhyana Ordination Program, or maybe in 2006. So it's quite a while ago now. And back then, Lumpy Ronapop was the monk running the program. I think it may have even been his idea, I think. And we had Lumpy Nicholas as one of the main teaching monks back then. And after I stayed on as a monk, Lumpy Pisit was often giving us bedtime stories, lots of subtle Dharma. So I pay deep respect and gratitude to my own teachers that are all based in London. I hope you all realize how lucky you are right now at the London Temple to have so many English-speaking teachers of such great experience. I don't know of any other center in the world at the moment that has equivalent to this. I'm glad to see that, because that is, in fact, my old hometown temple. I don't know if you're all from that area, but I was literally living about 5-10 minutes away in Goldsworth Park, which is one of my last addresses in England. So it is really very much a local temple to me. I'm very much a local boy. I wouldn't say I grew up around there. Well, Camberley, not far from Woking. So yes, I was very much a local lad. Now I've been back in the monkhood for just a rainy season, but I was a monk for about 10 years after that International Dhammadhyana Ordination Program, and going through various training programs. We had, in fact, there wasn't really much back then. That was the issue. There wasn't really much back then. We had the International Dhammadhyana Ordination Program, which we'd only really just started doing. And then after that, I literally went into what's called the Naraka program for Thai monks. So I was living with about 100 Thai monks, all speaking Thai language. And that was quite tricky. It was very, very strict, very, very intense. I don't know how I survived it. Not many did. But somehow I got through it. And after that, Venerable Sanda, maybe you know, maybe he teaches there sometimes, from Netherlands. He set up a training program just for the international monks for a year. And that was also an interesting experience. It wasn't quite as smooth as we expected it to be. Some certain challenges when so many monks are coming together from different parts of the world. But got through that, and then had to go back into Thai Naraka all over again, because I'd spent the first 2 years learning Thai language until I was fluent in it. And then I could go back and do my Dharma exams and actually do the Naraka in a full sense. So I went through like so many years of training program, another year of training program after that. And then after a year of working on middle way meditation retreats, teaching, English language meditation on like a 5-7 day meditation retreat. I then did my own meditation retreat for about 4 years up in here in the hills of Chiang Mai, which is actually where I am now, in the hills of Chiang Mai, which is lovely, very cool, particularly here at 2 a.m. which is what it is right now here. So I've been through a lot of these training programs, but I had a lot of health issues. I had to come back out and sort out some health issues, and now I'm back and ready to go. But in between, I also ordained in the European ordination program, which is held in Belgium. I don't know the details of next year's program. Maybe Lopi Pissit can mention that too. But I joined that program, 3 years ago, something like that now, for a quick little ordination, few weeks. And then also I saw Lompi Ronapop again and Lompi Sanda, which was nice. So I'm the only one who's done all 3 incarnations, I think, of the ordination programs. That is the International Dharma Ordination Program, European Ordination Program, and now the Monk Life Project, which is the latest incarnation, which is held here in Thailand, in the north of Thailand. And I say the big difference, which I will be talking more about later, but the big difference would be is that of all those years that we've been doing these programs, it's not so much about particularly during the program. I think it's much more of an issue after the program. But either way, we never actually had a place, a location that was, 1, own, 2, that was suited to international people. And that's what I would say is the big difference between Monk Life Project and anything that's gone before, is that we're finally lucky enough to have, 1, a very, very generous and understanding sponsor of the project. There's Venerable Prabhupada, who was also a monk who grew up in England, did all his schooling in England, so very much understands us. And him and his mother, who is a very a generous sponsor of the project, have helped create this place we call I Monastery, which is basically an international forest monastery deep in the forest and jungle of North Thailand. And it's something about, I don't know what it is about us, but the international people, we all seem to love nature. As a big common theme amongst us all, is we all seem to love nature. And anybody who comes here and stays in the forest, just, yes, this is what it should be like. We have city temples, right? We have town temples. They serve a purpose, in particular for outreach. But for the monks would much prefer to be, in the forest, in the jungle, particularly, actually, for some reason, Western monks. And you could say that the forest monk tradition is one of the ones which has spread the most in the West. So this is exactly what's happened again, I think, is that we just gravitate towards the forest because it's just suitable for meditation. It's really quiet. We have a little place, one little meditation hall amongst several meditation halls. One of them is right deep, all on its own in the forest. You have to walk deep into the forest to get to it. And all you hear is the sound of a stream and birds. And that's it. It's lovely. So you can just meditate there peacefully and quietly. And really get the atmosphere and feeling for meditation, long meditations. So we have, this Monk Life Project there. And what we call the Monk for Life Project, which is for the monks who stay on, and which I'm now going to be a teaching monk for. So this is a great opportunity right now, which I'm rather enjoying. We have a few starting to gather monks. We've only been doing it this year, and we've literally been creating the place this year. We've just done 5 projects, but the 5th one is ongoing, of which 18 people ordained in. I haven't seen any English monks yet. I'm the only one. But we do have many other nationalities, German, Belgium, we've had French, we've had virtually all over Europe. many of them right now. And a few have stayed on. So we've got looking up to like 6, 7 have stayed on. I think this current batch might have 5 who stay on. So we're starting to build up our little Sangha, our international Sangha, our community of monks. Hopefully, we get lots and lots of them. And the goal is to try and get to 100 international monks at this temple. And then we'll have plenty of monks who can zoom in and teach you guys. But that's kind of the idea. And hopefully, maybe succeed in that. So that's just a little introduction at the moment to monk life and Dai Monastery. But while I will talk more about monk life and simple life in particular a bit later, let's, before we do that, let's kind of prepare our minds for that. So, I will talk a little bit about meditation now, and we can then have a meditation together. So I'm sure that everybody there is now probably an experienced meditator. These Zoom calls have been going on for ages, and maybe if some of you are already at the center, I don't know, but I'm kind of expecting you all to know what you're doing. But I'll give you a few tips maybe. So for your meditation today, each monk leads the guided meditation in a different way. That's just the way it works. But not very different. So I just want to put an emphasis, I guess, on really deep relaxing. I think it's very, very important. We all talk about relaxation. I will lead you through a way to make the body much more still, much more relaxed, before we go into some of the normal techniques. So I lead you through usually through a little bit of mindfulness of breathing, just to really deeply relax the body. And then we go into using some mantra, which some of you will be familiar with, like Samarahang, or you could use an English word as you like pure, 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 calm, 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 whatever you like. And then if some of you are experienced, which I suspect you are, then you could start using, for example, a visualized object, like sun, moon, star, crystal ball, Buddha image, etc., etc. So there's different stages to it. And that's something I'd like to maybe explain. I don't know if everybody really understands the importance of this, is that even the whole meditation path, even what I've just described, which is just very much beginning meditation, but all the way to the very end, meditation is a series of techniques. The Buddha often describes each technique as like a raft, which you get on, you use it to cross a river, then you get off. So you don't get attached to the raft. The raft is just a vehicle. Each of the techniques is just a vehicle to take your mind from one state of consciousness to another state of consciousness. Once you arrive at that state of consciousness, you then switch to a technique that is suitable for that state of consciousness to take you even deeper, to a deeper state of consciousness, and so on. And so it's a series of techniques. And so therefore, one of the parts of the art, I would say, of meditation is knowing about, well, do I take the bus now, or do I take an airplane? Do I take a boat? What kind of vehicle do I need in this particular place? So some of the initial techniques that you would use, are suitable for your starting off point, but some of the techniques would be inappropriate. So it's about knowing the right sequencing of them and when to switch. And while I can lead it, generally speaking, in practice, you can work out for yourself. If you feel you're ready to move on, then you can move on by yourselves, or you can just follow along with me. So let's try it out. So make yourselves comfortable. So find a good position for yourself. And take your time. Because as I said, relaxation is absolutely key, which needs comfort. So make your environment comfortable. That's it. Settle yourself down. Make any final adjustments so that after you settle down, you won't need to move again because it's so comfortable. When you've done that, you can very gently and softly and partially close your eyes. Not squeezing them shut, just partially, lightly, gently closing them. Let us begin by taking some long, slow, deep breaths in together. Breathing in, hold it. Breathing out, letting go of the past. It has passed, there's no need to keep thinking about it. Breathing in deeply, hold it. Breathing out, letting go of the future. Hasn't arrived yet. Let's just stay in the present moment, breathing in deeply the present moment. Hold it. Breathing out, letting go of the world around you. You're going to be interacting with it. Breathing in naturally now, coming inside your body, right here, right now, in the present moment. Breathing naturally now. Let us start to relax the body. Beginning with the forehead, letting go of any frown, easing out the creases, and relaxing the temples to the side. Relaxing the jaw, let it be slack, to be loose. Relaxing the cheeks and lips. Letting go of any remaining tension in the face. Relaxing the sides of the head, around the ears. Relaxing the back of the head. And down the neck. Feeling the shoulders dropping down. Relaxing those shoulders, easing out the tension. I feel this waterfall of relaxation flow down the arms, following this wave of relaxation down the upper arms, through the elbows, flowing down the forearms, through the wrists, into the hands, relaxing each finger one by one. Relax, letting go of any remaining tension in the arms. Breathing in, breathing out, relaxing the chest. Breathing in, breathing out, relaxing the upper back. Relaxing down the back, middle back, and lower. Relaxing around the waist. Feeling the belly expand as you breathe in. Shrinking back as you breathe out. to deep diaphragmatic breathing. Relaxing down into the hips and buttocks. Again, feeling this wave of relaxation flowing down the legs. Following it down the thighs and through the knee, down the lower leg, flowing down through the ankles to the feet, all the way to the tips of your toes. Relax. Letting go of any remaining tension in the legs. Letting go of any remaining tension in the body. Breathing in, breathing out. Becoming aware of the breath. Feeling the movement in the belly, chest. Deep breathing. Becoming aware of the turning points of the breath. The beginning of the inhale, the beginning of the exhale. And noting that the words in and out in your mind. The Buddha said, when the breath is long, know that it is long. When the breath is short, know that it is short. These are relative terms. So we need to compare the breath to the previous breath by measuring. So what we do is we count the length of the inhale and we count the length of the exhale at one's own relaxed pace. For example, in 1, 2, 3, 4, out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's no particular pace, no particular length. We're just measuring, observing, being mindful. So try to count the length of your next inhale, count the length of the next exhale, taking a series of measurements. And as you take a series of measurements, you'll be able to observe if the breath is rhythmic, the same length every time, or arrhythmic, constantly changing. As one practices mindfulness of breathing, usually the breath will get longer by itself. You notice the number reaches a higher number by itself. Take some time. Because we're not moving, we're sitting still. We're not using energy to move. When we use less energy, the metabolic rate slows down. We need less oxygen to create that energy. And so our breathing rate slows down. As the breathing rate slows down, we relax. The physical body relaxes. All the residual tension is released using less energy, making the breath slow down. As the breath slows down, the heart rate slows down, using less energy. A feedback circle. The breath just gets slower and slower by itself. And this helps to switch our state of consciousness. Beta brain waves, daily problem-solving awareness, into more internalized, calmer, relaxed alpha brainwave state. Where the thoughts don't last as long. They're not trying to do much. Coming and going. In the meantime, we're staying with the breath, counting in, counting out. Being aware of the diaphragm moving down and up. The belly expanding, shrinking back. Awareness beginning to gather in the belly, in the center of the body. Once you've noticed that the breath is no longer, you're feeling very relaxed. And that technique, that raft, has done its job. And we can let go of it. Awareness slightly floating in the center of the body. We can now go deeper, working on the mind itself. Using a mantra, whether that be the ancient mantra, Samma Araham, or whether you prefer to use an English word, like relax, calm, or pure. It doesn't matter. What matters is how you use it. You want it to be used subconsciously so that it loops around by itself. So when you repeat it constantly, continuously, that continuousness becomes automatic, subconscious. It's like a background noise, like a song stuck in your head. It doesn't have to be clear, it doesn't have to be distinct. It'll end up being like a murmur, this background noise, like Sammaraham, 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 sammaraham. This becomes a continuous murmur. It's like a lullaby that soothes the mind. Soft, gentle background noise. So you'll now have your awareness on three things. A little bit of awareness at the center of the body, lightly and gently. Most of your awareness listening to the mantra, and a bit of awareness lost in thought. Every time you find yourself getting too involved in your thinking, listening to your thinking, just switch your awareness back to the mantra. Switching focus a little, but listening to the mantra. The mantra will come back into the foreground, and the thoughts will go back into the back. So we don't try to stop the thoughts. We just don't listen to them. We listen to the mantra instead. With any of these techniques, whether it be the breath, the mantra, or the next technique, visualization, they all have an end goal of stilling the mind. But at any time the mind does incline to stillness, then one doesn't need any more techniques whatsoever. One just allows the mind to balance itself in stillness by itself. But if the mind hasn't quite got there yet, we stay with the mantra. Until it fades out by itself. The mantra allows our mind to go from alpha brainwaves, this calm, relaxed state, closer towards sleep, theta brainwaves, the daydream state. The mind becomes more visual. The body fades away, going deeper into the mind. And it's because of these daydreams, more visual thoughts that arise, that we can then use a visual technique so that we don't get lost in daydreams. So if your mind isn't starting to daydream, then try recollecting an object to focus upon, to anchor your mind, whether that be a full moon, sun, a star, crystal ball, ball of light, Buddha image, whatever you like. Something that you can very easily recollect. Right and hold. Just recollect it lightly, briefly, and then do it again. Repeatedly recollecting, rhythmically. Unless when you try to visualize it, it stays by itself. You can recollect continuously, then that's wonderful. But if it disappears, bring it back. You could even recollect it with the mantra. So every time the mantra loops back to Samma, or the beginning of whatever mantra you're using, you recollect the visualized object once more. So that again, even this recollection becomes looping round, automatic, done subconsciously, rhythmically. Doesn't matter what the image looks like, it might not look where you intend it to. It matters not a little bit. It's just using it to take you out of daydreams. That's all you need to do. Take yourself out of daydream by recollecting. If you happen to see it constantly or continuously, then just observe. Don't need to recollect, obviously, now. You just watch and see what it does. Doesn't matter what it does. We're not the director. We're just the observer. Just gently, casually observe. No desire, no expectation, not reacting, just watching continuously. At some point, as you go in deeper, the mantra feels natural now, and you prefer just to use a visualized object. You can even let go of that part as well. The mantra is very good for the chatty mind, linguistic thought. As those calm down, the mind becomes more visual. The visualized object becomes more suitable. Take you in even deeper. So as we go in deeper, you can meditate in silence together so you can go inside. I'd like you now to bring your mind back to the center of your body. Connecting with your body once more. Expand your awareness around your whole body. Feeling the weight of it pressing down on your chair. Feeling the air against your skin. Listening to the sounds around you. Bringing awareness into your fingers and wiggle them. Your toes and wiggle them. And in your own time, gently stretch out to open your eyes. So you can come on out to the meditation now. I hope that was a peaceful, relaxing meditation. Yeah. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the simple life, which is what the monk life basically is, and why people like me choose to become monks. And if you can't become a monk, well, you can still invite a friend to become a monk. But if you can't become a monk, then how can you take some of the secrets of the monk life into your own life? So let me talk about why we become monks. Become monks because it gives us a lot more time to focus on self-development, for developing the mind, in particular to unlock the mind's capacity for calm, peace, and of course, happiness. The happiness of meditation, the joy, the bliss of meditation, is just a very different kind of happiness to the happiness that you're usually used to from sensuality. So when we, as a lay person that is, not a monk, and we're just wanting to, after work, to relax, we're wanting to unwind and entertain ourselves, maybe we turn on the TV. Maybe we're watching something on channel BBC One or ITV back there in England. Or maybe you're using Netflix nowadays. Yeah, you turn on TV and maybe watch something to elevate your spirits like this. Maybe have a nice meal. These sensual desires, whether it be listening to music, watching TV, eating something, these are all forms of happiness, but the happiness which doesn't go very deep. It's quite superficial happiness. Doesn't last very long either. Tends to last only about as long as you're doing it. And I wouldn't even say that long. It's something you might notice when you're having a meal. The first few spoonfuls, like, oh, wow, so delicious, so lovely, I'm so happy. Then actually the rest of the meal you barely notice. You're not mindful of it whatsoever. Maybe you're eating and watching TV at the same time. No idea what you're eating. No idea about the happiness of the meal. It's only really the first few spoonfuls that you're actually getting any happiness from. Pretty brief. Even when you're watching TV, it's not the whole of the TV program that you're feeling happiness with, And a lot of the time, you're just watching. It's just something to do. It's not really that fulfilling. It's not really very satisfying. It's so not really satisfying that at the end of the program, you have to watch another program. And you kind of it's almost like chain smoking, because smoking also is not something which is satisfying. It's so not satisfying that you often need another cigarette directly afterwards. After the cigarette, you then get craving. You get craving. dissatisfaction, which you then need to have another fix, to have another sensual happiness. There's not actually a lot different in terms of brain chemistry between smoking and, say, for example, watching TV. There's a dopamine hit. Whether you're playing games and they're giving you all these rewards, just dopamine hits. Certain brain neurotransmitter, which makes you feel good, briefly, very briefly. So you need another one, another one, another one. None of them are really very satisfying. They don't last very long and just leaves you more craving. That's the big problem. Whereas meditation can generate feelings of happiness, which go much deeper than just the physical body and the senses, but reach right deep into your own mind, into your soul, so to speak, where you just feel very nourished. You feel more cheerful, more joyful. So this cheerfulness, this joyfulness, doesn't last just while you're meditating. It lasts most of the day. You can charge up your battery with this energy so that you're just constantly happy for the rest of the day. And particularly when one combines it with mindfulness, which of course one can do in all activities, then absolutely this becomes a very sustainable general happiness, which is not so much a dopamine kind of happiness, but what we call serotonin, different brain chemistry going on here. It's like a general high, natural high that you just feel all the time, which reduces a lot of this craving. Because you're just feeling very sad, feeling full, you're feeling happy, you've got more than enough happiness to share with other people, you're smiling, you're being kind to each other because you're in a good mood. Very different kind of happiness. And that's the kind of happiness that we develop in the monk life. But it's something you can also develop at home. So even before one becomes a monk, like in the first week of the project, when people have first arrived, they wear white clothes and they keep 8 precepts. They eat just 2 meals a day. They give up all forms of entertainment. But that's actually the key, is when they start switching from sensual entertainment, looking outside for the happiness, finding more time, which is what just the 2 meals a day does. And then they can spend more time meditating. So very, very simple. When we look at the 8 precepts, which is basically the first 5 precepts of morality, standard morality that you already probably know. No killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no taking any intoxicants. They're the normal basic precepts. But it just basically the main thing that you're adding on is no entertainment. That's the main thing. If you're trying to grasp this, you don't even have to think about it as 8 precepts. You're just thinking about it as, I'll switch my time from external sensual entertainment to meditation. If you just think about it like that, it's going to be very, very simple to understand. So the simple way we start off by doing that is try it out once a month. Now, traditionally, it would be on the full moon day. This would be the traditional way. That every full moon day, somebody will dedicate that day to a more spiritual day, to a more inwardly focused day. But it doesn't, in modern society, it doesn't have to be on a full moon. Because back then they were using a lunar calendar. They were using a lunar calendar. They weren't using we call a solilunar calendar, which is what we use in the West. So the lunar calendar was how they know what day it is. They just look up and look at the moon, right? So in a modern calendar, it could just be a Sunday. Okay, it could be, say, for example, first Sunday of the month, which you probably know is a big day at our temples. It's just basically one day a month. And then on that day, you just spend more time meditating. You meditate maybe once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, even 4 times a day. Just like you're on a meditation retreat. If you're on a meditation retreat or in the monk life, you tend to meditate 4 times a day. Early morning, late morning, afternoon, and evening. So you have lots of time. You're not doing anything else. You're just dedicating it to meditation. So you try that out. Try that out. Maybe one day a month, first of all. Try meditating not just once during the day, but create that kind of like an environment in your home. Dedicate that day. Turn the phone off, kind of thing, and just put in some extra hours of meditation. Boost your energy for the whole week, which is basically what a weekend is for, right? The weekend is to recharge yourselves for the week. So if you actually genuinely spend an effort in meditation to really recharge your spiritual battery, fill yourself up with energy, fill yourself up with pure energy, with happiness and joy, that can then last for a lot of your week. Once one has kind of built oneself up, right? We've tried this out. And once you try this out and you realize, wow, that's really beneficial. It makes a big difference to my week. Yeah. The battery goes down. A battery goes down. You charge it up, but then you use it. So you'll then think, I like this, but maybe I'll try that twice a month now. Yeah. So traditionally it'd be on the full moon and on the new moon. And you do this twice a month. But now you could just do it every other Sunday, for example. Or every Saturday. It's up to you. Whatever's convenient for you. And then after a while doing that, this is working. You're getting used to this. This is a much nicer way of living. I'm just much more cheerful. I'm just much more peaceful. I'm just much more calm. So then you start switching it to maybe once a week, right? Basically, most of your weekend is just full of passing time, pastimes, as we call it. They're things which, like I said, whether it be watching TV, whether it be playing games, whether it be going for a round of golf, whatever it might be, okay? These pastimes. But you'll soon find out that meditation is a much better way of passing time. Once you get deeper and deeper into meditation, as you're putting more hours into it, you will go deeper. Then you start to realize, oh, this is much more interesting. This is actually much deeper feeling that I'm getting from any of the other thing I'm doing. And it's benefiting my life in various different ways. And once you start seeing those benefits, experiencing those benefits in your daily life, in your weekly life, then you'll really be interested to, even once a week, do lots of meditation. And as you're getting, now you're doing this once a week, maybe, as I said, 2, 3, 4 even meditations on that day. You'll be able to meditate longer and longer. As you're meditating longer and longer, deeper and deeper you go, happier and happier you get. This is a feedback circle starting to work. So as you're doing that, that's going to be starting to elevate yourself. Elevate yourself. Your purity of mind will constantly increase. Your inclination to break those 5 precepts, or to do some of these sensual activities, which maybe you were kind of addicted to. Maybe some things that you were kind of addicted to. Now that's not so interesting. Now they don't serve you anymore, and you just kind of abandon them because you're getting so much more from your meditation. And even your the weekday meditations, the daily meditations are now going much deeper because they're having this big, big boost once a week. During the day, weekly meditation, maybe, somebody's still working. It's not easy to find a lot of time. I understand that. So maybe you're meditating first thing in the morning, quite common. Usually is the best time. Even if you have a family, you kind of get up before the kids get up, that kind of thing. So it can be a useful time for most people. The body is nicely relaxed. It's fresh. It's a good time to meditate. I really recommend after work. First thing after work, just to sort of let go of the work stress and worries, let it all go, clean out the mind so that it's recharged again so you can enjoy a good evening. But if you think about what you do in those evenings and why you don't have much time, it's usually because you're filling it up with other sensual desires. I've got to watch at 8 p.m. I've got to watch Coronation Street, got to watch EastEnders or whatever it might be back then. You got all your favorite TV programs that you've got to watch, so you don't really have much time to meditate. Well, that's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Actually, you do usually have time to meditate. It's just that we're using that time with these sensual activities. Once one realizes that, no, meditation is a lot better than those soap operas or whatever else we might be doing, then we switch. Okay, so they're always in competition, but you can start to win that competition, particularly by making a big jump forward on the weekends, or if it's convenient for you, as I said, on a moon day. So that's how a little way you can progress yourself and start moving into more of the simple life. Or if you're having the ability to, you can become a monk. Or, as I said, if you know somebody who might be interested in spending some time out in the forest, just meditating, listening to some Dharma, but meditating, then is that, anybody who could do with that, who maybe need a much bigger boost, a much bigger recharging than even just a 1 day a week, then absolutely let them know about monklifeproject.com. And if so, then I'll be happy to see them there. But that kind of wraps up for me. So thank you very much. If anybody does have a question, I'd be happy to answer any questions. We'll open the mic if somebody has a question. If not, then that will be all from me for this time. And I would like to thank. Yes, Nancy?
But yeah, if I've got small questions, because even if you've had a really bad day, or you've had like a day where you feel very irritated or down or something, or you say you've got a migraine or a headache, you should still try to meditate through that. Or is that good? That's even better time to meditate.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. That's when we're needing it most. That's when we're needing it most. And maybe we're needing more meditation than normal. But we might have to adjust what we're doing in the meditation to deal with it, depending on how severe you're feeling. Okay. Because yes, if it's just, worried or irritated and so on, say if it's irritation, then usually we would switch to loving kindness meditation. I'm not sure if you practiced that before. Wishing that I'd be happy, wishing that my mother be happy, my dad be happy, may everybody in my household be happy, and so on, and expanding outwards. So practicing loving kindness meditation can help overcome that kind of negative feeling, particular kind of negative feeling. If it was worries, then mindfulness of breathing is very good for that. So we'd use a different technique, and that can calm anxiety. So if you're feeling anxious, then we can calm the anxiety with mindfulness of breathing very well. But if it was like you said, like a headache, now that's a bit different, right? Problem with if you have a physical pain, then most of what I was, guiding you through a normal style of meditation becomes very difficult. You just can't even relax it. You actually have to make the pain the object of meditation. There's almost no choice but to do that because it's just throbbing. So you actually start to focus your attention on that pain and observing the impermanence of it, that it's not constant. It comes and it goes, the intensity varies. You look at where it is, and it's just basically observing its impermanence and being mindful of it. As you do that, you're sending positive healing energy to it. You're sending positive healing energy to it. And all the time you do that, it will start to work away at releasing it. And so you're just allowing the thoughts to come and go. You're not really doing anything about them. You're just being aware of the sensations and the impermanence of the sensations. And then you can get past it. So you can still meditate. You just have to change what you're doing. Okay. And then that will start to subside. And as it subsides, then yes, you could start to go into doing other techniques to take you in deeper. Like I said, it's using the right raft, the right vehicle for the certain terrain that you're on. Okay, do you understand?
Yes, I too. And another question that came to mind, and anyone else who's got questions, feel free to unmute yourselves. Is when you're out in the forest on the retreat, is it quite a shock then to come back to like urban monkhood, or is it possible to get attached to the forest itself? Um,
Don't get me wrong,
mm,
it's very nice meditating in the forest. It is for sure. Meditating in the forest is very nice. But when you close your eyes, you don't see the forest. And when you go inside, you don't hear it either once you start going in deep. And that is something you can do wherever you have a place to sit down. Okay. As a beginner, it can help a lot. But as someone becomes more experienced, you can sit down anywhere. You can sit down anywhere. Remember when I was a layperson, weirdly, I would love to meditate in restaurants. So when I'm like waiting for the food, I'd meditate. And I could, even though there's lots of noise around me. I just didn't pay attention to it. I just focus. And yeah, I could be very calm and peaceful and happy. So yeah, but as a beginner, you're quite sensitive, and so it can help to create a nice ambience. But later on, it's not such a big deal. It's not such a big deal. And so one can meditate anywhere, not just in temples. But I remember when I was working, like commuting, doing the commute from London back to Woking, because it's got, as you all well know, if you're living there, has a really great rail connection. That was my meditation time, was on the train. That was my main meditation time, coming back from work on the train. Why not? Well, what else are you going to do on it? Nobody's speaking on the train in England. It's actually quite quiet. So yeah, use it to meditate. You can meditate anywhere, right? It's just about what style of technique you want to use in certain circumstances in different places.
yeah, thank you. It's very interesting, and it's a lovely guided meditation, Venerable River.
Thank you, Nancy.
And if that's all the questions for tonight, we'd like to close today's. Oh, yeah, and please get in touch with Nana if you would like more information on the Monk Life Project, and visit monklifeproject.com for even more information as well. And for everyone who would like to pay respects to our teaching monk, Venerable River, please bow 3 times. Bow. Bow. Bow.
I wish you all to be happy and peaceful and have a wonderful week, and enjoy a simple life where you start to meditate more and more, okay? Thank you very much. Good night.